Hi everyone, welcome to another video. So today I wanted to do something that I've actually been meaning to do for probably like 3 or 4 months now. It just never happened, but I really wanted to do a full face of Suqqu. And for those who don't know, Suqqu is a luxury Japanese makeup brand. They do also make some skincare, and the biggest problem with Suqqu is that they don't actually sell in the US. From what I hear, they did at some point a very long time ago have US storefronts, but they pulled out of the US market entirely. Now, if you do want to get Suqqu, the only way you can get it easily, I would say, is from Selfridges. It is also sold on other places like Liberty, and Harrods and stuff like that, but if you have Selfridges Plus, then you can get Suqqu from there with free shipping above a certain threshold, or you can just like bulk order it once and then the shipping is like a flat $30. Selfridges does have very good shipping. They do have very good customer service. The only thing, of course, is that if it's like the wrong shade or something like that, you can't return it, so just do be careful of that. Their prices can be pretty high up there, but personally, in my experience, I've really yet to get something from Suqqu that was a dud. I like everything I've gotten from them, so I just wanted to do this video really, this simple little get ready with me today using as many Suqqu products as I own. I don't think I have enough for like a true full face, but I have basically enough. I think the only thing really that I'd be missing is like a highlighter or something, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started now. So first things first is I'm going to start with primer. Now, the Suqqu primer has been on my wish list for a while now. I just haven't gotten around to getting it yet. I know that Lexi Jong really likes it, but I don't have it. I do want to get it sometime though. It'll happen eventually. So I'm just going to quickly use my SHAISHAISHAI Under Eye Banana Conceal Eye Cream, and then I'll move on to the rest. And then for primer, I'm currently testing out this new primer from Flower Nose. This is the primer from the Flower Nose Little Angel collection. As you can see, it has really pretty packaging. I'm currently in the middle of testing this out. It does have a very interesting consistency. It stays in place. It's very thick, but then when you take some off onto your hands, it becomes very thin when you rub it in. So like you can see on my finger, but then as I rub it into my skin, it rubs in very nicely. Okay, so now starting with the first Suqqu product that I have. I do have samples of the most recent renewal of the Suqqu foundation, and currently my opinion on that is that I do quite like it so far, and I am highly considering getting a full size of it now that I know what my shade is. But for this video, I'm going to go ahead and use this foundation. This is an older formulation that you can no longer get. It is the extra rich glow cream foundation, and I'm going to use this today just because of how dry my skin is. This is slightly too tan for me, but we'll make it work. I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and take a lighter colored concealer and mix some of it in. I have this white concealer from Tarte that I use as a mixer, so I will go ahead and do that. I definitely should use it more often than I do, but yeah, it's really nice. It does have pretty light coverage, but it really makes my skin look so nice, especially on days where my skin is super dry. I personally find that Suqqu's complexion products are really nice. The only downfall of them really has historically been their shade range, but with each iteration of their products, I do find that their shade range improves. It's nice to see them kind of slowly improve over time, although I do wish they'd pick up the pace a little bit. I am using a different sponge today. I started to wonder if maybe one of the reasons my foundations wasn't looking so good is because the sponge I've been using for a while, and it's just getting kind of old. That, and I also feel like Beauty Blender's quality has kind of become more hit or miss these days. I can't remember what it is. I think based on the color, I think it's the Morphe Ariel one, but I can't remember anymore. So this usually is a little bit more glowy, but combined with my dry skin plus the white concealer, as you can see, it did tone it down just a little bit. The new foundation, I think it's just called The Foundation. I do really want to get it, especially now that I know my shade. I do really like the idea of getting it. Selfridges had an issue with customs where they weren't able to send me samples, so they kept resending them to me, and then suddenly they kind of all arrived at once. So I just have like all of these samples that I'm working through, which is nice. I don't mind at all. So I'm just working through those before I decide if I want to get the full size or not. My foundation collection right now is kind of expansive and probably due for a refresh. Okay, I'm also going to just quickly put on some lip balm. Okay, so now that that is on, I am going to go ahead and put on some concealer, and today I'm going to use I'm probably just gonna opt to have a little bit less coverage today because my under eyes are still quite dry. So I'm just gonna be using the Luna concealer here today. And I just take like really little dots along my tear groove. So not completely covered today, but I'm just gonna leave it there because my under eyes are really dry. So I think if I put on anything thicker than this, it's just not gonna look good. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of powder foundation. This is from Urban Decay. I believe they discontinued it, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. And I'm just going to use this to add a little bit more coverage right where I need it. I'm going to skip on the setting powder for now. I usually generally wait to see if I think I need it. Right now my skin is so dry, I kind of go without powder most of the time and I'm fine. So to start off with, before I do my eyebrows, I'm going to go in with this Suku eye primer. I really like this. If Suku were to make a tinted version of this, I think I would buy like 500. So I'm really hoping that they consider making that someday. It is so nice. I really just wish they came in a tinted version. I do have hyperpigmentation on my eyelids. I have some veins that I really wish I could cover. So if I'm ever using like intense shadows or especially pastel shadows, then I can't use this because it doesn't, you know, it doesn't cover anything up. But on any other normal day in the winter, I have come to really like this primer. Right now, even the Rare Beauty eye primer, which I used to use religiously for years, is too dry for me. I don't know what about this winter is so much worse than other winters because this has not been a cold winter at all, but my eyelids just like noped out of it. My eyelids and my skin have just noped out of everything this winter. It's kind of frustrating. But I'm gonna give that a little bit to sit. I don't have a Suku eyebrow pencil or an eyebrow pen. I've wanted to try the Suku eyebrow pen for a very long time now. I just never got around to adding it to my cart, which when I placed the most recent order for their new 2024 liquid shadows, I should have thrown it in, but I completely forgot. I am probably gonna make another Selfridges order in the near-ish future, so if I do, then I will go ahead and throw that eyebrow pen in. I've been wanting to try it for a very long time now. If it's not already discontinued, I will go ahead and try and get it. I don't know if it's been discontinued or not. I don't know what Suku does or doesn't do. I don't really want my eyebrows to be too blocked on today. Okay, and then my eyebrows are looking a little bit choppy, so I am gonna take the spoolie that is on the end here and just quickly blend out this pigment. I'm gonna use the brow flick. I no longer know what to use my VIB Rouge Reward gift card on because I was going to use it to get Iconic Smoke, but the sale is coming up. Now, you can't use the gift card during the sale. I've tried, unfortunately. So I'm not sure what to use my gift card on anymore. I was thinking about using it on Iconic Smoke, but maybe I should just wait for 20% off. I don't know. And then Patrick Ta announced the new blush duos. I kind of wanted to try one. I'm not sure about that yet. I have a lot of options. I'm not sure what to do. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with the eyes. Now I have one quad, which I believe this is permanent. So anything that has like one and it's 3 digits and it starts with 1, so like 101 or something, that usually means it's limited edition. And if it just has like 01, 02, 03, etc., then that means that it is permanent. There are a lot of limited edition quads I've wanted in the past, but I believe most of them are sold out now. And honestly, Suku quads are pretty expensive for what you get. And I actually haven't used this yet. The eyeshadows I cannot give a review on. I can give a review on literally everything else except the eyeshadow. So this is 01 Mizuhana. And I picked this out because I think you can see why I would pick something like this out. It does come with 2 applicators, a dual-sided foam tip applicator and a dual-sided brush applicator. I'm not going to use either of these. I like to save these. I just save these in my lipstick drawer to use for applying shimmers later. I have my own brushes I can use. And then the other thing I'm going to be using, also for the first time, forgive me, are going to be these 2 liquid shadows. So initially I saw that the purple one sold out and I was so heartbroken because that was really the only one that I wanted, but then it magically came back in stock and I was like, well, I'm not going to miss out on this opportunity. So I did get the purple one, and I thought while I was at it, because Selfridges Plus used to be free shipping period, but we all know that the quality of service must come down and the price of things must go up. So now you can only get free shipping if you get above like $60 to $65. So I added a couple more things. Among them, I added the green one as well. So now I have both shades. I don't know if these are still in stock at all or not. These both are limited edition, but I'm going to incorporate the purple one because I really want to. So I'm going to go ahead and start using this quad here. Really pretty. Again, this is gonna be my first time using this quad because I'm the worst YouTuber. So I'm gonna take a Rephr 15 and I'm going to go into, it looks like this is a very like satin and shimmer heavy quad, so we'll see what happens. I'm gonna start off with this shade here, this one. I'll start off with this shade and I'm going to be using my natural hair brushes today. Very little kick up in the pan. I was playing on my Switch earlier today, so I'm not going to be using my fingers to apply any of these powder products. I may use my finger to apply the liquid shadow, we'll see, but definitely not the powder because I don't want to get my sweat in these pans. So you can see that this shade does have quite a lot of sparkle in it, but it lays down and blends out pretty much like a matte. And I've been really wanting to dive more into luxury shadows for this reason, because I feel like when I have days where I just don't want my eyelid wrinkles to show, so I've been really wanting to branch out more into that. But the reason that I have a lot of trepidation about it is because most luxury shadows on the market are also like absolute garbage. There's really not that many that are actually worth the price. So I thought Suku would be a pretty safe bet. And I want to try the YSL clutch quads for this reason. I've heard those are actually really good. Very big contrast to YSL's usual shadow formula, which is not worth trying. And then I'm going to go into this shade here. Now this palette, the only thing really is that there is kind of a lack of depth in this. Well, no, on the brush it suddenly looks way darker. I think with all the reflex in the pan make it look lighter because it's catching light, but when I have it on the brush it actually looks really dark. So I'm going to take this. Oh yeah, no, it's darker, huh? That went a lot darker than I thought it would, especially when I turn my head to the front, you can see, and then when I turn my head, it catches the light and it looks lighter, but from the front on, that actually is quite a bit of depth. The two Japanese brands, there's 3 Japanese brands I would love to receive PR from: Addiction, Surat, and Suku. Those 3 would definitely be really cool because I feel like I haven't tried anything from Addiction yet just for budgetary reasons, but they are on my list of things to try once I have the money for it. But I feel like they plus Surat and Suku really fit with my neutral aesthetic. I just love their packaging, I love their colors, and especially the blush colors that they offer are just so unique and special. I really do want to try Addiction as soon as I have the money to do so now, especially now that they've launched a US website. I was going to buy from them last year, but then the ringworm thing happened, so unfortunately that really put a damper on a lot of my plans, but we'll see about this year. I have quite the backlog to work through. I'm going to be gone in March for like almost 3 weeks, so we'll see. I'm going to take that darkest shade on the lower lash line. I love these kinds of satin finishes, and the subtle amount of sparkle in here actually makes these really unique as far as satins go. My favorite thing about satins is that every single brand kind of does their satins differently, so I feel like I could have the same shadow in a couple different satins from a couple different brands and it still will look wildly different on my eyelid once everything is laid down. Now, the only thing left to do is I think the blending, I need to like blend out these edges a little bit, so I'm going to take a nice fluffy brush and I'm going to go into this rosier tone shade here. This has distinctly less sparkle in it, so I'm going to use this as a blending shade, and it'll also add a nice pink tinge to the overall look, which will help the purple, I think, lay down better on this. I still do want to put the purple down somewhere sometime. I haven't forgotten about it yet. It'll be interesting to see how well the purple lays down on top of all of this powder. The powder formula of these quads does not feel very powdery or dry at all. It kind of almost reminds me of Tom Ford cream to powder formula, except that it's not actually cream. It just has that kind of creamy softness to it without being dry and powdery and without having any kick up in the pan. It is definitely an extremely luxurious feeling formula. Like, I feel like for the price that I pay, this is a formula that I'm enjoying using. It's giving me kind of the luxury experience where it picks up well on the brush without any kickback or fallout. And it's working really well across my very dry eyelids. I do really like that. I find that it can sometimes be really tricky to work with drier eyelids, so it's always nice to see a formula play well. You know, it's almost a bad thing I bought this quad and like it, because now I want to get more of their quads. I definitely have noticed I kind of have a thing for Japanese luxury beauty brands. I feel like the craftsmanship and the product quality is really, really good. The aesthetic is always super, super clean, super, super beautiful. You can just kind of tell that Japanese craftsmanship is infused into these products, and Suku to me historically has not felt any different. So I like this so far. Okay, so I may go back into this quad again in a few minutes if I think I need to, but I'm gonna go ahead and use this liquid eyeshadow. This is in the shade 103. I don't know if there's a shade name for it. If there is, if there is a name for this, I'd have to look on the Selfridges website to see it. I only see the name 103 and I just peeled off the English label. Doe foot applicator. And I'm just going to use my finger, I think, to tap this out. Did it just like pull up? I think it just pulled up what's underneath. Okay, I'm gonna switch to using some kind of brush, I think, and see if that makes it better. I feel like I should have guessed that this would happen. I'm gonna just take this on a brush. I'm not very good at using liquid shadows yet, so I am still definitely in the learning process, so please forgive me. So I'm just gonna use the brush to very lightly dab it on and try not to pull up any more product. Okay, that looks a lot better now. So I think I should have used this on its own. It's a little too late to go back now, but I will keep trying to play around with this. Yeah, sorry, I totally didn't mean to screw up this look by not applying a cream shadow properly. So let me just try and dab some onto my eyelid. And now I'm just gonna try and spread this out very carefully. I got kind of a thicker patch up here that I can't quite spread out as easily. So like I said, this is me using these for the first time, and this is me also being a complete novice with liquid shadow, so do not take this as any kind of product review. This is just me playing around with these, so do forgive me. I am not good at using liquid shadows at all. It is definitely something I want to get better at doing, but I do feel like these have a lot of potential. They have a moussier finish as opposed to being like completely liquid, so I feel like that makes them much easier for somebody like me to use. I have trouble using the About Face paints for anything other than liner because they're just so thin. I feel like I can't control them. But this feels a little bit thicker, so it almost kind of has a creaminess to it that makes it easy for me to control. Okay, so I'm gonna pat it on with a brush straight on for my left eye, as opposed to applying it to my eyelid and then, you know, taking off my powder eyeshadow and making a mess. So I'm just gonna stamp this on delicately straight on, and it's already looking so much better. I feel like it also does set down. Like, I feel like I can't blend out this little thick blob anymore because it's already kind of set. Definitely a learning curve, but I feel like that's more about the fact that it's a liquid product that, as opposed to it being actually difficult to use, that there's a learning curve for that reason. I'm very eager to continue practicing with these for sure. I think what I need to do first of all is I'm going to apply the inner corner highlighter, and then from there I'll see what else I think this look needs. I will take this Rougher 13 Mini. I'm going to go into the lightest shade in this quad now, as you can see, and I'm going to use this on the inner corner. Okay, this shade does feel a little bit powdery. I got a little bit of kick up with this shade, so we'll see how it goes on. This shade also does have the most sparkle particles and the least amount of pigment in the base, so I guess that makes sense. I think as far as sparkly inner corner shades, I think I've seen better. This isn't necessarily my favorite I've ever seen. I heard their newest quads, the two limited edition ones, especially the blue one and like the pinky one, I heard those, the sparkly toppers in those are really good. So I didn't get it, mostly just because I just didn't really have the money to spare, but I definitely would have tried it because I was hearing a lot of good things about the glittery shades in those. This one being the first quad in the permanent range, like it's literally 01, it wouldn't surprise me if the topper formula in this is a little bit out of date. I feel like it's not bad, but I've definitely seen better. Yeah, you can see that I didn't apply the shadow very evenly, but that's more of a skill issue than anything else. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go back into my other brush. I do want to kind of add a little bit more depth to the outer corner and blend into the purple a little bit better. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Yeah, that is really, really pretty. I do really like that. And then just a little bit more of that pink shade. I'm also going to take this pink under the lower lash line to add a hint of pink just all over the perimeter of the look. So I don't have any dark eyeliner from Suku, so I'm just gonna go ahead and call that look done. I do have like eyeliners from other brands I could use, but I don't know. I don't use eyeliner as often as I thought I would when I first started using makeup. I kind of just realized at the end of the day that like I can get the effect I get with eyeliner just with like the dramatic eyeshadow that I like to wear. So I stopped using eyeliner because I felt like with how thick I have to make eyeliner, sometimes I feel like it would just interrupt or take over an eyeshadow look. So no eyeliner today, but I will quickly demo for you guys the Nuance Eyeliner. This is in 109. This is a lavender, so I think it'll work really well. I'm just going to go ahead and use this to add some detailing on the outer corner. These are felt tips, and I don't like felt tip liners. Like I feel like everybody kind of goes into one camp or another where you either like felt tip or you like brush tip, and it's very, very uncommon for me to run into people who like both. Almost everyone kind of ends up preferring one or the other, or if you're like me, you love one and you just utterly and totally despise the other. So I'm that way with felt tip. I really just don't like felt tip. I'm brush tip all the way. But especially with colored liners, I feel like it is so hard to find colored liners that are brush tip. I feel like all the colored liners end up being felt tip. So I was so excited to try these from Suku, but they ended up being felt tip, so I don't use them as often as I thought I would, but they're here, so I'm gonna go ahead and use them. So I thought that this was a lavender, but it is kind of more of a pink, but I still will show it to you guys. I'm gonna use it to just kind of draw a little detail on the end of this look. These also are not quite as white or pastel as I thought they would be. They actually do dry down a little bit darker than you would imagine. So you can like barely see what it looks like that I did. So yeah, you can see I don't really use it that often. But yeah, I don't know if you can see, I did draw a bow, but it is barely visible against my skin tone. So you really can only see the cut that I drew above my eye, but I think it's just a nice little detail. So I'm just gonna leave that there. I'll try going over it in 108, that is the green. So yeah, you can kind of see it a little bit more now. I kind of did like an ombre where the green kind of goes into the pink. It's gonna be the eyes, so I'm going to go ahead and move right into the cheeks, and then I'll do my lashes off camera. I'm still not sure yet if I want to do fake lashes or if I want to do mascara, so I'll just go ahead and do the rest of my face. So very quickly, what I want to show you guys is that there are two blush formulas from Suku. I think I'm gonna go for the one that you can still get. They're pure color blushes. These are gradient blushes. There are always two colors. Generally speaking, one's darker, one's lighter. Sometimes the lighter one is meant to be a highlighter. Other times it's just a lighter version of the blush. So I got this one because I thought the light blue on the end would be pretty interesting for me to try and use. I don't think this is going to go with today's look, but I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like. I do have other blushes from them. I do have one other pure color blush that I think may be worth using. This one is a little bit less warm. I actually don't think I've used this yet either, which is so embarrassing. I think this might work better just because it's a little bit more pink. The brown, it might not go too well with the brown, but I can try this one. Actually, I may go ahead and try this one because the browns that I used, the pink that I used, it did kind of warm it up, and the purple I used was has a little bit of warmth to it, so maybe I'll go for this one. I'm not sure. I feel like actually this one might be fun to use, and I kind of want to use this one anyways because I want to see what happens with the blue. But yeah, I do have these two. So the one that I have 146 and I have 06. 06 is the permanent one and is the one with the pink and the lavender, so I will put that one away. I'm gonna go ahead and try using 146. This is the limited edition one. I don't know if you guys can still get it, so don't come at me if it's gone. I'm just using what I like over here. I'm just using a Refer 18 as my face brush today. I was going to demo the holiday edition Refer brush that is now sold out. I was going to demo that a very long time ago because they did send me one, but then the ringworm debacle incident happened and I haven't opened the brush yet. I need to clean my makeup space and move everything around before I open all of the new brushes. I have new brushes from Sonia G and from Refer that never got opened, but I can't open them yet. I think one of the biggest differences between the melting powder blushes and the pure color blushes is the finish. The pure color blushes they are sometimes matte and they're sometimes glowy. And then the melting powder blushes, they're glowy, but not because they have like a shift or like glittery particles like the Pure Color blushes do. They're glowy just because they are so creamy and soft, and they have like almost like it's like the powder itself has moisture in it that infuses into your skin and makes your skin glow without any pearls or sparkles. I really can't describe how those blushes work. It is so beautiful, and it really is such a shame that Suqqu does not make them anymore. Being Japanese, I've noticed they sometimes release colors that other brands don't. So you can see this shade does have a little bit of white in it, so it's kind of like more of like a pastel leaning coral. It's actually working a lot better with this eye look than I thought it would, so I'm glad I chose this. It does have a little bit of like a gold red kind of glow on my cheek, but it's not obnoxious. I do not usually like overly glowy blushes, but a minimal amount of glow like this I can handle. You can see that it lays down pretty pigmented, but then as I tap it out with this brush, it blends out really, really easily. So that is the blush. That is so, so pretty. So now I'm gonna go ahead and switch to, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and switch to the clean side of this brush because I'm just kind of lazy. I'm gonna try using the blue side on the inner part of my face. So I'll just kind of try starting it here and seeing what happens. Yeah, it's got some glitter, so if I put it on the center of my face, it'll look kind of strange. So I'll just focus it as a highlighter. It almost kind of neutralizes the warmth of the blush I just laid down. Interesting. I kind of wish that this side was completely matte though, so that I could just use it as like a blending out space filling shade. I've been looking for a really good pastel blue to use as that kind of blush shade. This is definitely not going to be it because it's sparkly. Yeah, you can really see that effect it gives. Subtle but pretty. I'm going to go ahead and use this to brighten up my chin, and I'm also going to use it to brighten up my forehead. Okay, so I don't have the Suqqu lip liner. It was on my list of things that I wanted to try, but then I completely forgot. I don't actually know if it's still available, but again, I probably will be making another Selfridge order in the near future, and if I do, I will go ahead and throw that in because last I checked, it was actually really, really inexpensive. I think it was like, what, $12.50, 13 bucks? So for a Suqqu lip liner, I'm always down to try that. So today, I'm just gonna go ahead and use the one from Romand. And then I actually am kind of glad I ended up using such a warm toned blush because I think I'll be able to use this. I really want to show off this new Suqqu lipstick. The case doesn't actually tell me what it's called, but it's the moisture one. I'll put the name as usual up here so you guys will see the name of it. But I am so excited about this, you guys. You buy this and you get the case separately, and then you just kind of push it in. When I saw Alicia Archer try lip swatch these on her lips, I was like, and then I saw the marketing and just the name. I love products like these. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on today. It does not have a squishy feeling to it like the Candy Glaze sticks or those MAC squirt balms do. So it definitely does not feel fragile or anything. And it does feel like it's putting a bit of a thinner layer on my lips, but it feels intensely hydrating. Okay, so you can see that it is a little bit more on the sheer side as advertised. But I feel like I could apply it forever. It feels so nice and hydrating despite being thinner and firmer. So I definitely feel like this is something that it wouldn't melt if you were to carry it with you, and it's not gonna mush or get mushy gushy or messy on the applicator or anything. And you can see I have like some peeling and some dry lip stuff, and all of that is concealed and hydrated. This is something I definitely want to get more shades of, but because you have to buy the case and the refill separately, it would be very expensive for me to have to get all the cases. So what will likely happen is I'm going to get this one case here that I got just so that I have the case, because it is very, very beautiful. It has the logo on top, minimal packaging, super sleek. But I think what's going to happen is I'm just going to have, if I do buy more shades of these, I am just going to have a little miniature army of refills, which is the cutest thing ever, but also it's a little bit like dinky. But so that is going to be this face of Suqqu. The only thing left for me to do is my lashes. So I'll be back in a few seconds with the finished face of makeup and everything. Or it'll take me a couple of minutes, but you'll see me in a couple seconds. Okay, so I did go ahead and in addition to the mascara, I did go ahead and make a couple changes to my eyes. First off, I decided to go over it with a white liquid liner. I just felt like it wasn't showing up and it kind of just looked like I got dirt on the side of my face. So I went over it in white and then I went over it in pink again to just do a gradation from the pink into the white. I think that made it look 10 times better. So now I actually look like I have a little bow on the side of my face. Given that this is more of a subtle makeup look, sometimes I am kind of trying to use falsies a little bit less often and depend on them a little bit less often because I know a lot of you guys watching me don't use them. So here is the eye look. No false lashes, just mascara with my wimpy little Asian lashes so you can see how that looks. And then of course, lastly, I did take some liner on my inner corners. You can see right here. And then lastly, I did take a darker lip liner just to contour the corners of my mouth. I felt like my lips looked a little bit short because whenever I use only a light sheer colored lip color like this, I do have to darken and contour the corners of my lips because my lips are so short. Like if I could make my lips just a little bit wider, I would. So I cheat that by using lip liner, darker lip liner on the edges. So the last thing I want to do before I wrap up this video is I want to show you guys the Suku powder. This is in 101. So this is a limited edition shade. You can't get this anymore, I don't think, but the formula itself is not new, nor is it a limited edition formula, and it is, I believe, available in other shades. I believe Suku also did, along with the foundation, they released a new powder, and that new powder did have a lavender shade. I don't know if that was limited edition or if that was permanent, and it just, because I know it did sell out very quickly. I'll have to check later to see if it's actually in stock or not. I have been wanting it for some time. So I'm going to use this today and show you guys what it looks like. This is an absolutely divine loose powder formula. I love it so much. So I'm very excited to show you guys. It is the ultimate lavender powder. I don't have any other lavender powder in my collection except for this. Because of this, I just feel like it looks so beautiful, and it is perfect if you have dry skin like me. You just kind of stipple it into the skin very quickly. You can even do a little bit of buffing if you want to. My skin does not tolerate powder buffing very much, so I mostly just stipple. It's lavender, but I use it all over my face. I don't put it obviously like all the way out here, but I will use it all over my face and nose. It is just such a gorgeous powder, and so I am very interested in trying the new Suku powder whenever that one comes back in stock. One of my favorite powders in my collection, and the lavender is subtle enough on me that it just kind of subtly brightens up my skin. So I especially love using this powder. If I use a foundation that's too dark for me, I love using this powder, especially in the summer. I'll use higher quantities of it to really get the brightening effect. But you can see it just makes my skin look so perfect. Like I don't even know how I could describe this powder to you guys other than it looks perfect. I'm gonna use this color today. It is a very light shade. It barely shows up on me, which is good because that means that I'm not gonna over apply it. Bring some dimension and life back to the outer parts of my face. You can see I just used the tiniest touch just to add some warmth and dimension. Okay, so that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this Suku Get Ready With Me, a very soft, easy look. And yeah, I don't really have much else to say. I really like Suku. I really like all of these products. I am looking forward to seeing what they continue to come up with. I feel like even though all of their collections are kind of similar and that they're all like, you know, obviously like wearable and daily appropriate and soft and blah, 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 their collections still manage to differentiate. Each collection is still differentiated from each other quite nicely. Something that I feel like some luxury brands, I feel like all their collections look the exact same, but I feel like Suku actually does a pretty good job differentiating all their collections from each other. So I've been very happy with them so far. I'm definitely hoping to pick up more shades of these Moisture Glaze lipsticks this year. So we'll see. I really want to get the darker shades. Now that I know how this formula performs, I think it'll look much better on me if I get some darker shades. With that all being said, I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you guys have any more questions about Suku or if there's any products you recommend to me to try. I'll add it to my list of things to look into. And yeah, I'll wrap it up now. So I hope to see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.